Every nation has a wound. America's was slavery. South Africa's was apartheid. India's wound is caste. Caste is not merely a system, it is a sentence passed at birth. It is hierarchy, clothed as tradition. It is a silent shadow behind every village well, every temple step, every marriage negotiation. When a constitution was written, the framers had to answer a question that was not academic, not abstract. Could India be free, truly free, without dismantling the tyranny of caste? Their answer was radical reservation, a policy that would tilt the balance, a remedy that would give justice where equality had been denied. But here we are, 75 years later, and the trial continues. So tonight, we would cast reservation and equality on the stand. And we ask, has reservation been a constitutional balancing act, or has it become a perpetual conflict? The court is now in session. Let us return to the Constituent Assembly 1946-49. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar rises, his voice firm, his presence unshakable. He knows what caste means not as a theory but as a humiliation lived. He tells the Assembly, political democracy cannot survive unless social democracy supports it. Equality, liberty, fraternity, these are not just words, they must be lived. The Assembly debates. Some fear reservation will divide India further. Others argue it is the only way to heal. Nehru stresses unity. Patel warns against endless special treatment, but Ambedkar holds the line. The Constitution is born with Articles 15 and 16, promising equality but permitting the state to make special provisions for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Political reservation for 10 years in legislatures are limited timeline. The idea was not permanence. It was transition, a temporary bridge from centuries of oppression to a future of equality. But bridges once built often becomes roads we never stop walking. The ink is barely dry when the dispute began. 1963, M.R. Balaji versus State of Mysore. The court says reservation cannot be excessive, capped at 50%. Equality must remain the rule. In the case of State of Kerala versus N.M. Thomas, 1975, the court says equality does not mean treating unequals equally. Special measures are part of equality itself. In 1992, the watershed Indra Sawhney versus Union of India case, the Mandal Commission case, the court upholds 27% OBC reservation, reinforces the 50% cap on reservation, introduces the creamy layer concept, a grand promise, or so it seemed. In 2006 Ashoka Kumar Thakur case, OBC reservations in higher education were upheld. In 2022 EWS case, the court upholds 10% quota for economically weaker sections, even among forward caste. For the first time, economic disadvantage, not caste, become a constitutional basis for reservation. The story of the courts is not clarity, it is contradiction. Every ruling tightens the rope, every ruling loosens it too. The balance remains unstable. Step outside the courts into the streets. Reservation is not abstract. It decides admissions, jobs, political representation. It shapes destinies. For millions of Dalits, tribals, backward classes, reservation has meant dignity. A seat in the classroom, a foot in the office, a voice in the parliament. Without it, doors would have remained sealed. But look again. Generations of some families have now risen into the middle class, into bureaucracy, into politics, yet they still claim reservation. Meanwhile, vast numbers within their communities remain untouched, tabbed in poverty. And among forward caste, resentment simmers. The feeling of being punished for birth, of being excluded no matter how poor. So we witnessed a paradox. For the oppressed, reservation is survival. For the excluded, it feels like injustice. And in that clash, unity suffers. Reservation today is not just a social tool, it is a political currency. Every election, every state, new demands arise. Marathas in Maharashtra, Jats in Haryana, Patidars in Gujarat, Kapurs in Andhra Pradesh, and Gujars in Rajasthan. Communities once dominant now seek the shield of backwardness. Why? Because in India today, backwardness itself has become a political asset. The ceiling of 50%, breached again and again and again. States redraw categories, create subquotas, push parliament to amend. What was once a remedy now risks becoming a race. Who can claim the most backwardness disadvantage? This is not social justice. It is vote bank arithmetic. Here lies the heart of the trial. What is equality? It is treating everyone the same, or is it treating the historical disadvantage differently until they catch up? The framers believed unequal treatment could produce equal opportunity, temporarily though. But what happens when temporary never ends? When identities harden, when quotas expand, when politics makes withdrawal impossible. Impossible. Equality risks becoming a slogan. Justice risks becoming a bargaining chip. India is not alone. In America, affirmative action aimed to uplift African Americans and minorities. But in 2023, the US Supreme Court struck it down, calling it inconsistent with equality. In South Africa, black economic empowerment policies post apartheid uplifted some, but critics say it enriched elites, not the poor majority. Across the world, affirmative action starts as a remedy. Over time, it faces the same questions: who benefits, who is left out, how long should it last? India's caste system must makes our case unique, deeper, older. But the dilemma is universal. So where do we go? Reservation cannot end overnight. Caste injustice remains real, raw, violent, but reservation cannot become permanent entitlement either captured by elites, demanded endlessly by the powerful. The path forward must be threefold. Targeting. Benefits must reach the truly disadvantaged, not the privileged within groups. Time bounding. Periodic reviews must decide where reservation remains necessary. Transformation. Investment in education, healthcare, skills, social reform, so that reservation becomes unnecessary one day. Because the true measure of reservation success will not be in how long it lasts, but in whether India can one day live without it. So, constitutional balancing or perpetual conflict. It is both. Reservation was balancing when it gave the oppressed a voice. It became conflict when it turned into politics of endless demand. But here is the deeper truth: the Constitution did not fail us. We failed to reform society fast enough to make reservation temporary. The next hearing is not in court, it is in parliament, it is in our universities, it is in our villages, in our families, in the way we treat each other every single day. Because no quota, no law, no amendment can erase caste unless society itself does. This has been the next hearing, India's Constitutional Dialogue series, and I am Audhuri. This court is adjourned now until the people of India deliver the final verdict on caste, on equality, on justice. Thank you. We will meet again in the next hearing on a different topic. Thank you.